Alright, it's Monday, May 2nd, 2022. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so let's get a sit rep here. I don't know that I did anything this morning as far as the video. I guess I didn't. I kind of just jumped up and stumbled around for a while. Anyway, laundry is done. Check. And then now I've got all of the tools. The bike is here, the trailer is here. Anybody that missed out on yesterday's video, I'll try to summarize it here in a minute. So, first thing this morning, I went to the Walmart and got a second phone charger and another battery pack for the phone. May or may not actually need it, but I thought it was good to have. So I've got two phones over here getting charged and doing some internet stuff, and then the second charger is on that side with the second battery pack. That way I've got enough battery to run a phone for 2 or 3 days if I needed it. Then I realized there was a Harbor Freight like 3 blocks from the motel or something like that. So, oh, this one's done. Okay, good. So I bought 2 more of these batteries. So this is the same battery as the 4 that I already have, and so now I've got 5 and 6. And I don't know, you look at this, it's like, oh, the top of this one is blue. All the other ones are black, and so they must have just made a change in the design, right? Okay, great. These 4 batteries are wired in series this way, so it's 20 volts plus 20 is 40, and then 20 volts and 20 is 40. And then these are ganged up in parallel, so you get more runtime. Now I'm going to add 5 and 6, 20 and 20 for 40, and it'll be more in parallel, so I have more runtime, but still the same voltage. Okay, so it's basically just 50% more power. Okay, and it'll still fit in the same bag that I had. So, okay, so then I had to adjust my wires. So I dug that out and redid that. So when it plugs into the solar system, that'll just be it'll be the same settings. I don't have to change anything. And what's kind of cool about these, since they're tool batteries, you can just push on the top and just get a quick check that they're all fully charged. Yeah, kind of cool. This is still cheaper than a normal bike battery. Typically, yeah, you could spend $500 on a bike battery. So if I spent $60 a piece on these, we're way ahead of the game. Yeah. So there's no reason that these batteries should stay synchronized, right? I mean, this way, this set will be exactly the same. All 3 of these would be the same, and all 3 of these would be the same. But it's possible if this one randomly is defective, it would bring these ones down and they'd be all out of balance, and then the solar wouldn't know what to do, and it would maybe overcharge them, and it could be a problem. So that was just one of those risks that you take, because I couldn't solve it easily. So after riding literally 1,000 miles on these 4, these 2 are exactly the same down to the 100th of a volt. These 2 are exactly the same as each other to 100th of a volt. And the difference between this pair and this pair is 1/100th of a volt. So 20.33 and 20.32. That's, you couldn't get it any better than that, right? So I've charged the new batteries up to full on the charger. Now I'm going to put these on the charger one at a time and bring them up to peak, and then I'll hook up the balance leads in between them, and then I'll hook it up to the solar system tomorrow, and we'll be good to go. These are the Hercules 20 volt 5 amp hour lithium ion batteries from Harbor Freight. And let me grab my receipt because somebody will ask. Okay, $64.99 each. I got 2 of them. And then I bought that charger because I didn't have one with me. That charger was $29.99. The way I'm running, typically I don't have access to wall power, so that's dead weight, but it's probably nice to have in case. So it's not like, a DeWalt where you can do a 15-minute fast charge. So these are considerably slower. It's too safe. It's not aggressive enough. Okay, but it's a $30 charger instead of a $100 DeWalt charger. So we're on I've got tools at home that I could use these with. I mean, I'll make adapters, right? The I've got 18-volt Bosch NiCad battery tools that these would work really good in. So that's probably what's going to happen. What happened was when Frank picked me up, he's like, hey, do you got anything extra you want to get rid of for a while? I'm like, oh yeah. Because I was trying to decide, do I want to mail it to myself? I could mail it to my dad. I could mail it to one of my neighbors back, on the ranch. But then it would be sitting there for 6 months, right? And I'm like, well, okay. So I was able to take one of those black backpacks and I emptied it out, looked through all the stuff that was in it. It was basically that backpack was cold weather gear. Now that we're into May, I don't think I'm going to see 30-degree weather anymore. I mean, it could happen, but it's not as likely. But it does give me a little bit more room on the bike, and so one of the things I could do, the gray backpack, instead of wearing it all the time, I could leave it on the trailer. That just gets the load off my shoulders. Would be really nice. There was multiple people listed as welding shops in town. Okay, Tuesday morning, the 3rd of May, about 8 o'clock in the morning. Sit rep, really not much has changed. I moved some of the piles around a little bit, but not nearly as much as I should have. The battery packs are now fully charged, and I taped the pairs together, but I haven't taped the whole thing together. I saved my box from the beer. I think I'm going to make a shell around it that these can slide into, and then that will fit inside of the bag that the batteries will be attached to. And there's the leads still. Alright, so the plan for yesterday was I was going to meet the guy at the welding shop in the evening, like 6 o'clock or something like that. So I guess what it looked like the idea was he was going to do it as an after-hour repair, so he was probably out on the job all day, and then he was going to come back and do this in the evening. Great, okay. And he seemed like he was okay with working with me, so that was okay. But then, so I get out there a few minutes early. I stayed for half an hour waiting, and he never shows up. Okay. Did he forget? Did he have, there was RV trailers on the property, so I assumed he was going to be living there. And, maybe he just got hung up at work. I didn't think to get his phone number, and as it turned out, the phone, I got 2 phones. One has a cracked case and cracked screen, this one, and then the other one has a bulged battery, which you probably shouldn't even use, and the one with the bad battery doesn't work very long usually before the battery just runs out. So I typically don't use that, but that's the one that I can do voice calls on, right? Yeah, so I don't call people very often, so generally I don't care, So I'm sitting out there on the property, and it's like, there was a fence around the place, but the gate was still open, so I just stood there and waited, but the wind was blowing like crazy yesterday, like home, just like home. So I'm out there getting just sandblasted, and I'm trying to, you feel weird being on, somebody's commercial property when you're the only one there and people are driving by and you're just like standing there waiting, It's like, yeah, and then it was going to get dark pretty soon. I'm like, well, if we got right on it at 6, I didn't mind riding home in the dark, but I didn't want to be standing there in the dark. Yeah, it wasn't that far, but anyway, so I kind of well, at the time it seemed like a good idea, and he seemed like he was okay working with me, but I'm like, well, I'd rather just go if I can find a shop that's open. And I was just disappointed. I guess that's maybe a better word, not mad, but disappointed. And I just kind of turned on the TV and ate some chips and salsa and drank some beer and screwed off the rest of the night. Yeah, probably needed that once in a while anyway, but that was not a good time to finish making yesterday's video. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. So here we are in the morning. It's a new day. We'll just get her done. So, and okay, I got to wait all day. Well, what I should have done is gone and talked to a few other people and see if I could get in sooner, right? And then, if I do get it fixed, then I could go out and tell them, hey, I got it fixed, or call them or something like that, because I could have called from the motel room, right? So basically, yeah, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm like, all right, we're just gonna go get some breakfast. There's a Denny's. There's, I'm in. That's the thing. I found myself being bummed yesterday, and I'm like, well, I'm not out in the middle of the desert. I can take a shower. I got air conditioning. I can watch the TV. I got internet. I got everything I could do here. And I got a lot of other stuff done that I needed done anyway, right? I haven't fully resupplied yet. I'm going to hit the Walmart on the way out kind of thing. But everything else, I got my laundry done. That was huge. I got a shower, and then another one because it felt good. And, so it's like not the end of the world, But I have the hardest time being stuck in a motel room. I guess that's it. I'm getting used to being outside, and yeah, I kind of go back and forth. It's like, well, if I'm in the room, I guess I'm safe, and it gives me a chance to recover from being out in the desert all the time. So I try to take advantage of that. Yesterday I did jump on the bike and go for a couple rides. I had to, what else did I do yesterday? Well, yeah, in the morning, after I talked to that guy, at the welding shop, I go down and hit the Walmart again. This was one of those weird things. I'm riding along, and just randomly, I didn't even see it, but a bee flies right in my mouth and gets stuck in my throat, right? And I don't know if it actually stung me, because it never really swole up, but it was like either just abrasive or biting me or something, but it was like stuck in my throat, and I'm on the bike riding. I'm like, okay, immediately slam on the brakes, try to spit it out. I'm hacking and coughing, and the dogs are somewhere barking, and I'm like, I finally give myself almost half a Heimlich maneuver or something like that, trying to get, and I blew the bee out, and it's stuck in a ball of phlegm, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, sorry, I didn't do that on purpose, And while I'm doing that, I look over, and here's a nice pair of sunglasses. I'm like, okay, I'll take those, Always good in the. I mean, I don't usually lately I've been wearing my prescription glasses that have auto darkening or whatever you call it. And if I end up in a really bad windstorm, I do have a pair of safety glasses that I've been wearing that are dark, that have a pretty good wraparound. That does seem to keep the sand from blowing in my eyes quite as much. And so I'll see which ones I like better. These ones I found look nice, The ones that I have been using are just safety glasses, but they actually work pretty good for sunglasses. Okay, so now I got a spare, Yeah, it's just like, okay, eat a bee and find sunglasses, And then when we got back from, when Frank took me out and got the trailer and hooked me up and everything, brought me back, I go to lock the bike up outside, because I've got every other thing in here, but I don't want to scratch up the floor or something bringing in the bike, because they got wood floors in here, right? Which is a nice touch, I think. In the desert, you don't want carpet on your motel room. I mean, this is way more practical, and it looks nice, So I'm like, I am not bringing a bicycle in here and screwing up the floor, And after the first time I tried to bring a bike in, and the lady was just going ape poop on me, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to deal with that, because if I do scratch it, they're gonna just bill me, Yeah, try to be a good camper, I guess. So anyway, I go to lock up the bike, and my lock is all jammed up from the sand, right? And that's happened a couple times, and I'm like, you know what? If I do get the bike locked and I can't get it unlocked, that's going to be a problem. So that was one of the things. I went to Walmart and bought a couple of new bike locks, and I guess, yeah, some more earbuds, because one of them quit working. So, when I'm editing the video, it's easier to use the earbuds. So I'm like, okay, I got that, and a couple other little things, and yeah, take advantage of civilization, I guess, while I'm here. So anyway, that'd be that. So yeah, yesterday got stuff done, but didn't get the only important thing I really cared about done. And yeah, or one of the people that posted on the videos sends me a link to a video of a bicycle trailer that was made entirely out of PVC pipe and a couple old bike wheels. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, I could probably build that. And the funny thing is, since there's no welding and grinding involved, I could probably build that in the hotel room and nobody would care. I don't know, there's got to be a Home Depot or something around here. I could go buy 3 or 4 pieces of 2-inch pipe and build a quick trailer and bop the, I'm like, no, that's a legit looking trailer though. If you're curious, look back in the comments. A couple of videos ago, somebody posted that. Sorry, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but yeah, it was a really cool looking project, and I'm like, yeah, why am I screwing around trying to make it all cool and everything? And when I first thought about it, I'm like, that doesn't look right, but yeah, 2-inch PVC pipe, that would be strong. And I've got about 60 feet of used PVC pipe at home. I could do that, so we'll see what happens next year. Anyway, breakfast and coffee will make everything look better, and then we'll go out and get her done.